Thank you so much for staying with us as we continue with you on all angles. We continue to talk to parliamentarians. Well, at this stage, MPs elect. They still haven't been sworn in. They will be in another few days. Now, in this segment of the program, we have two MP-elects who will be returning to Parliament representing the Jamaica Labour Party. Dr. Horace Chang joins us by Zoom, MP-elect for St. James Northwestern, and Floyd Green, MP-elect for St. Elizabeth Southwestern. Thank you both so much. It's great to have you both on. So, Floyd Green, let me start with you. So, there must be a lot of relief associated with such an intense campaign, especially we're talking on radio about your campaign, your constituency being so scrutinized because everybody said, boy, that's going to tell me who are going to win the election.
Yeah, we do have the honor of being a true weather vane, a true bellwether seat. So we haven't been in opposition since independence, and it does create additional scrutiny. The reality is, as I say, even when national polls are done, it's one of the few constituencies that people pull out and do constituency polls. So in other constituencies, you're just doing your work, but here, every time you have a radio program, every time you have a talk show, they speak about the weather vane. So it does add some pressure, but it's good pressure in that it kind of forces you to work very, very hard, because you kind of feel like the election is riding on your seat, right? And I think one of the things that our workers do and take seriously, and I do have some of the best workers in the world, and I really want to thank them, is they take that seriously. They go out there appreciating that if we are to secure the victory, then we're securing the victory for the Labour Party. So it has national impact. So it does make them push a lot harder, and does make the whole team push a lot harder.
There have been lots of talk in this election about why money run and money makes some people win some seats. What happened in your constituency? We've heard talk in your constituency.
You know, I think it's unfortunate that oftentimes when one loses an election, the blame tries, maybe it's human nature. People try to blame other things than what else they could have done differently. In our election, definitely, I think from our side, we ran a very good election. Our voter turnout is phenomenal, 53%, which is 13% above the average. We're the highest percentage voter turnout in the country. And it's kind of typical of our seats. Our people come out, they love politics, they engage in politics. And we ensure that we focus locally on the issues. We focus on our achievements, what we had done, what was on the horizon, what was left to do. We took the message to the people. We had community meetings every evening right across the constituency, sometimes 3 meetings per evening, just taking the message out there, telling them what we had done, the things that we had not yet achieved, where were they, what else would happen, and saying to them, believe in us to continue to work. And I never focused the campaign any at all on the other side, any at all on the other candidate. We kept it fully above board, even when we went through very difficult times. I mean, we put up boards and we had to stop putting up boards, because this is the first campaign I went through where almost all our paraphernalia were taken down. But as I started to say on the campaign trail, is not billboards that win election, it's people who go vote. So let's keep on message, let's keep connecting to our voters. So I think that's what brought it home for us. Plus the fact that consistently as a member of parliament, I don't wait on election time to show up. I don't show up at church during election time. I don't show up at funeral during election time. I do that right around the clock. I don't show up at dances, and people talk about that. I do that right around the clock. I support the people in the constituency. I think that came back to help. And the other thing that I would say, and this had nothing to do with money, I saw a lot of young people who came out in this election. A lot of them, it was their first vote. A lot of them were excited. A lot of them felt hopeful that the country was moving in the right direction, and they didn't want to see that stop. So when we started to keep these meetings, and normally your community meetings, you get an older set, those who are into the politics. When I started to see a lot of young people at the community meeting, I said to the team, this is looking good. And if we keep this up, we will hit very good numbers, and we will have a comprehensive victory, and that's what we did.
So to be clear, you're saying you don't know anything, or you weren't involved in any vote buying in your constituency?
Absolutely not. And I've always found people play up the vote buying aspect, right? If people believe in what you're doing and believe that supporting you is what will continue the positive growth trajectory in the country, and if people have seen the work that you've done in their communities, and if you've touched them personally in terms of building that relationship, I find those people cannot be bought, right? So again, if vote buying was the answer, then it would always be that who would have the most money would win, right? And that has not been the case. When I started the journey in Southwest, right, as caretaker, when I went for my selection internally, we were definitely the poorest out there in terms of, we had established business people, but I learned that lesson from them. Connect with the people, go talk to the delegates, give them some hope, something to buy into, and that will stand the test of time. And I think when you look at our numbers, it can stand up to scrutiny. We have concretized our base, we have done well in areas that we traditionally do well in, and also we have spread our reach. So areas like Black River, Brompton, that I think the other side thought we would have been wiped out in. Based on the engagement that we had with the people over the years, we've been steadily building our base. And each year, if you look at my election numbers, you see growth, Clearly COVID was a little, but definitely when you reflect, we're doing well.
Let me put the same question to Dr. Chang, also as General Secretary of the Jamaica Labour Party. We've heard the opposition, Dr. Chang, I'm sure you've been aware, raise questions, concerns about vote buying, voter suppression as well. What's your response?
It's an argument emerging in almost every election, and it's far less important than why things get up here. The seats that won, that should not have one as indicated by a former statistic, the two seats I identified, for example, those young ladies had no money to buy votes. I know for sure. But the wild argument, not just denied from the Labour Party side, the argument goes both ways. Every JLP candidate who lost would tell that the PNP spent millions of dollars. I heard of bulk cash coming into Montego Bay at a certain point in time, etc. A typical example I'll give you, I went to visit a PNP supporter who was giving support in the constituency. By the time I got out of the estate, I was told I'd take millions of dollars there. Then I heard that PNP had changed millions of dollars in another check changing place. It's an ongoing argument. It is far less than that. That amount of money, if it was not available in Jamaica for elections, that's just the reality. I'd be willing for some young researcher, journalists or intellectuals just come and work in a campaign, see what happens. The American system offers that, and nobody in Jamaica would seem to want to take up that. Okay? It's an open system, and that argument comes as powerful from the PNP as from the JLP candidates has lost. From my more accurate intelligence, I don't think they put it. By the parties were that far apart, quite frankly.
No.
But this is one of the things we've got. Now, my seat, I spent 2 days in the seat. That's different from Floyd, and my seat used to be, as you're aware, a strong PNP seat, a legacy from Howard Cook, A.J.S. Coombs. Now it is considered a strong JLP seat. It was never a question of money in my seat. And where it is today, I said I can actually drive out help in 4 or 5 different constituencies across the country as General Secretary working to coordinate the leaders' campaign. And I still come out very successful. Could have pushed my vote turnout higher, but again, I know I didn't better what 2000 was, so what's the point of just seeking to, push beyond that? There need to be there need to be greater examination of this. And at some point in time, we may have to look at public funding because the cost of campaign has gone up. Fiscal campaign, you have to get transport out, you have to provide lunch for workers. And when you're moving around in the constituency, those costs to have vehicles on the road. But again, if you work effectively as a member of parliament, you will get the support of your constituents. There was, in this campaign, I think the Labour Party set out to operate on a base of performance, and it caught the eye. It was not that we had to work magic, but we had a number of things we could take credit for. Certainly in the urban areas, a lot of costs, many parishes in Jamaica, the crime had spread across the globe, where I went out at a personal level. It was not heavy on the campaign advertising, but I'd get people up there and say, well, Dr. Chang, the road bad, but I think you'll fix it because it was even for the crime reduction, I'll vote for you. That came across my screen very often. That we have successfully reduced the level of murders across the country significantly. Then the other things in terms of local issues that MPs who expose themselves show a certain level of sincerity and commitment to build will win. The argument of government resources is a non-argument. In a democracy, when you get near to an election, a government seeks to get its programs out there faster. Whether it is, that's just, even if you go back to the ancient roots of democracy in the Greek cities, anybody who wants to get elected will do things, expose their programs late in the game, well, not late, but near to the time of election. It's human reaction, it's normal democracy.
All right, hold that thought for me. Hold that thought for me, Dr. Chang. A couple of things I do want to pick up on, but I'm at break, so let me go to break. We'll come back in just a moment. Stay tuned.